Hello, good day, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jonathan. Today, we'll continue from where we stopped in our last class, part 3 of our Python masterclass. Okay, I introduced us to HTML and I told us that is the basic structure of every website. So, congratulations, you will start designing website today. Let's jump into it. So, remember to click on subscribe or the subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you get notification each time I upload new videos. Thank you so much. So in our last part, I showed us how we can install Visual Studio Code for code editing. That is what we are using as our IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Okay, that is the full meaning of IDE. So, and I showed us a basic structure of HTML code, and I opened it using Chrome. Okay, can't remember exactly where I saved it the other day. So today I will be working with this folder HTML class. If you look at it, it's so empty, nothing inside. So like I told us in the other class, that when you're naming we have a convention for naming our website pages, and I told us that each time you publish a website, the server looks for index page, and if that is not found, and I told us that it goes on to look for home or default.html pages, but and I advise us to stick to index.html as the name of our first page or your home page, as the case may be. When you are naming other pages like about us, services, and contact us, so you name those ones with their names, giving them the extension .html. All right, so I'm going to create a new file in this folder. You can see the icon to create a new file, or you click on your file and click on new. Okay, so you go ahead. The difference now is that a new file will come, but you're not given the opportunity to give it a name, so you have to go ahead to save. Okay, so in order to give it a name, so I'm saving into the folder that I just opened, and I'll call it index.html. Don't forget, when you're working in Visual Studio Code, you are meant to give each of your file an extension. If it is PHP, you give it .php. If it is Python, you give it .py. If it is HTML, you give it .html. It doesn't recognize a particular web programming language unless you give it the extension. It uses the extension to recognize them. But if you're using other IDEs that are specifically designed for uh, that particular web programming language you're using, like PHP, you might not bother, because the IDE will automatically attach the extension. So now I'm creating this and I've given it the extension .html. So I will go ahead and save that, and I have my work here open. But let me show you using this icon here. If you click, the icon gives you opportunity to name your file. Okay, immediately .html. Okay, you can see the difference between them. So instead of going through the long process, clicking on file and clicking on new, go ahead and use the icon here. The next icon there is for creating a new folder, while the other one is to refresh the explorer, and this particular one is to collapse. Okay, all right, so I'm going to close this and work the index page. So the first thing, when you are designing HTML or designing a website, is the HTML tag. It tells you that you're working with HTML, and that is the first thing. The next thing that we use is your websites are put in different sessions. Okay, so okay, let me visit a particular site here. That's okay. Different sessions. So looking at this particular website, what's wrong? Keep taking me to the server. Oh, my internet is on. Okay. Looking at this particular website, you will see that it's categorized. Okay, the way it's been designed. You're looking at node.js.org for inside, for instance. So you have the header, you have the body, and you have the kind of footer. So okay, so these are different sections of HTML. Um, that is how the structure is represented. So you are supposed to have a title, a header, and all those. Okay, so I'm going to type that afresh, but you can also visit a your Google, and you know H look for basic HTML tag or HTML structure. You can search for that, and okay, and copy and paste. Okay, so that you don't have to type from the beginning. And another thing is that there are some IDE that you can use once you chose that you're designing, or you're starting you're starting a particular HTML page. It will automatically give you the basic structure. Okay, sorry, I picked tag. I'm not supposed to pick tag. It's trying to explain tags for me. Okay, doc type and all those. I'm not going to talk about doc type. I'm not going to talk about doc type. I will just give us the basic um, header um, structure that will work. Okay, I don't have to start from the beginning. So this was what I'm trying to bring up. You have HTML, okay, but some part of it has been skipped. I'll go ahead and progress with what I'm showing you. So the next one is what? Head. Okay. So and we give our page a title. Okay. So inside the title, we call it Python master class. Okay. Okay. So that is the title. That is the end of the head there. And there are other things that comes in as time goes on, linking our CSS style sheet and all those. So we'll talk about all those. So the next one that ends it, the last thing there is the body. So inside the body, you can have the footer, you can have your navigation bar and all those. But I just want to keep it simple and show us what you have done. So this is the basic structure. So I can go ahead and type, give it a body or my message here, whatever your content is. You go ahead and key it in. Okay, Python masterclass um, is very okay, um, educative, and I believe after this I will become a great programmer. So All right, so don't forget, like I told us, the document is already alerting you that you haven't saved your work. Go ahead and click on save, and then you go ahead and browse your work. So I think there's a shortcut. I can do it this way. Pick it and bring it to my browser. It didn't work. So let's go ahead, review in File Explorer. That will help me open my document. Double click, and here we are. Okay, Python. Yep, sorry, that should be your. Okay, so I will correct that and click save. There's one thing I want you to know. Basic HTML, we didn't put into it's not embedded into a particular programming language like the Python that we did. It does not require a local server to run. Your web browser is enough to run it. So that is what we are experiencing now. The correction I've made cannot refresh unless I go um, to the page and refresh manually. That is when the changes will take effect. Okay, so looking at this is our content, the content we have typed. You can see the full address is there. Okay, and you can see our title, Python Masterclass. You can see it's there. All right, so you have your website. Okay, you can go ahead and get some inputs. Go ahead and get some inputs and dump there. All right. Is my network slow? You can't be slow at this moment. Mm. All right, so I will grab this, copy, come down here, watch. I'll put a space and I'll paste that there. Then I'll click on save. I'll visit my web page again and I'll click on refresh. You can see everything is showing. But there's a funny thing that happened where our work stopped. I pressed enter, and as you can see, there is no space, no kind of return space showing here. So what happened? Your HTML does not work like that. If you like, press enter key all through to the next page. Once you save, it will continue from where the other one stopped. Okay, it will continue from where the other one stopped. No space. I will press Ctrl C and save that. You can see that's no space. So how do you achieve this? Just like we have our HTML tag, header and all those, we have our body. Everything comes with a tag. So I believe you're used to using your Word document editing applications like Microsoft Word and the rest of them. You know, when you want a paragraph, you do what you press enter key. When you want a tab, you press your tab key. And when you want to go to the next page, you insert a page break. So the same thing applies to this, but it's just that we don't use our keyboard to control this. You type them out. Okay. So if I want everything to be in paragraph, I'm gonna use the tag for paragraph P. Okay, and it gives me the closing one. Every tag you open in HTML, you must close them. It's the same thing for opening that you use for closing, just that you put a forward slash in front of the main key, you know, in closing. The same thing happens here. I am gonna paste this here and remove the opening tag, then paste it here to close it. Okay, for no space, the same thing. But if I don't want a paragraph, I just want a page, a break to go to the next line, you can use your just like the name imply, um, break. So paragraph you use P and break you use BR. Sorry, what I have done is bold. BR you don't need to close it. So but there are some conventions that have been seen online, use opening and closing in one place. Okay, this is applicable as well. So I'm going to click a save. Okay, here we have what line break. Okay, I'm going to put another one there. Here we have what paragraph. Save it here. Paragraph what 2, paragraph what 1. Okay, then I will go ahead and refresh. You will see that your website is taking shape now. So we have our paragraph 1, our paragraph 2, and what line break here. Okay, so that is how it works. I will employ you to visit any online resource website, or just search that for introduction to HTML in your Google search bar. You will get a lot of materials to read. I mean, study and note the tabs and the tags, I mean to say. But I'm going to take my time and show us the basic tags that we need to have a fully functional website. Okay, so we've got this. Looking at our openjs.org page, you will agree with me that there is much difference. There are much differences that you can see on this page, you know, when compared to our page here. Okay, all right. So for a start, you can see that there is a margin space between here and this wall, and there is also at the right hand side, and there is a button space between this and this. Okay, all right. Those, though we can achieve the button space because we know how to put line break, but what of the top margin and the left and right margins? So those you can control using what we call CSS. And I told us the full meaning of CSS the last time we in our part 3, in the part 3 of our training. And I said is what? Cascading style sheet. So that is what we use to separate and make our uh, website beautiful. All right, so let's see what we can still do with HTML tags. Okay, so paragraph 1 that I have here is on the same page with my text. Well, let's see how we can make it bigger, separate from the body or the underlining text that follows. So I will go ahead, and it's a tag we call H1 for header. Okay, I will select this cut and paste at the end here. The header comes in different variations. So we have H1, H2, H3 to H6. So I'm going to give this first one H1 and give paragraph 2 H2. Okay, all right, so delete that and paste at the back. Automatically starting the closing tag for me so that I don't forget, but I don't need that. All right, H2. Okay, so for the line break, I'm going to introduce the one I introduced by mistake before, bold. Can use that to achieve bold. So I'm going to save, come to the website and view. So we have a paragraph 1. You can see the difference between H1 and H2. Okay, that is how it continues to get smaller and smaller. I think H6 is equal to this board that we have here. Okay, so you go ahead and try out H3, H4, H5, and H6. It ends at H6. Okay, so what happens when you see a kind of you did something but it did not end there? You're seeing it as a kind of error. All your pages are now H1. What really happened? So please bear it in mind that something has happened, and because it's spanning all through here, it's stopping here because there is H2 here. If not, it will have continued till the end. So the reason is that we didn't close our H1 tag. So we quickly sense that, go ahead and close it. Okay, when you see such, you know that you didn't close. But when you see a style that you applied on one paragraph is spanning to the other paragraph, just know that you did not close the style sheet or the tag. So that is what is making it span all through downwards. All right, so I have introduced us to the use of HTML. So let's see why we are doing the HTML. We are not going to have a different class for style sheet, so it's better, it's good that we talk about styling here. Okay, so every tag that you have in HTML, you can add sort of tag and styles to them. Okay, just like when you work with your Microsoft Word, you come back to highlight your text and give it a color, or you bolding, or you increase the font size, you know, you work on the margins and all those. The same thing is applicable in HTML documents. But just that, like I said, you have to type out the command, so you don't click, you don't select, you type them out. But to introduce style sheets in your tag, you use what is called what? Style. Okay, style equals to double quote. Then you have all sort of suggestions to work with. So I'm not talking about block now. I'm going to talk about font size. Okay, font size. The font size that we want to use um, in um, in the whole document. Okay, font size. So I'm going to click on font size, and then you put full column. Then you say whether large or small, or so I'm going to use one pixel. Okay, pixel px. All right, so I will save and come down. Because I put that in the body, it will span all through the document. Okay, because the body envelopes all the document. All right, so we can see my font is so small that we can barely see it. Pixel is small. Okay, so there is another convention known as EM that we normally use for font sizes. Okay, that one gives you almost equal to what we had earlier. All right, so so full column, semicolon to separate one format from the other. So font, okay, um, color. So this font color, you can say what font hyphen color. Oh, I could have said color alone. Sorry, color for that. You can go ahead and select your color, or you type the name of the color. Okay, so I will say let me just give you chocolate, then save. So you take your time and work on every color, everything that you want to see. So that is for my font. So having given my font that color, I want to give the background a color, because you see some sites they have background color. You can see this is not pure white. So I can go ahead and do background color. Okay, I have background blend mode, background hyphen color. All right, so I have that. It's not pure white. Let me see corn silk and I'll click on save. Always remember to save your document. All right, this is almost turning to the chocolate that we gave earlier. So there is one thing you can achieve um, using your code, Visual Studio Code or VSC, okay, VS Code, as the case may be. If you point on the color, it will give you option to, work on the color as if you are doing a graphics design. Okay, all right, it gives you a graphical interface to work on your color. So like I said, our color is not just pure white, it's kind of gray. So I'm gonna pick something like that, the color I looked up on the other side. So I will do that, but then it's no longer a straightforward color, but what, RGBA color. You can see that we have the red, the green, the black, and the blue, and the um, what does A stand for? Can remember? We have different variations of those which you can always change to get a particular color. So I will click on refresh and see how that color look like. So you take your time. So for with that, I want to change um, this chocolate towards black, something close to black. Click on save and refresh. All right, so we have that for our HTML, okay, structure. So I will employ us to take our time and see how we can improve our skills in HTML and web designing. So when you have done that, you can proceed with our other parts of um, Python masterclass. Okay, but I still want to go to some extent to show us more about our style. So this style that we have attached, CSS style, is only to the body. What if I want this color, somewhere else? Assuming I want this on paragraph H1 and I still want it in H2, I will have to be, copying and pasting, or producing the same thing in different places. So there's a way you can, define your CSS somewhere and cut them up anytime and use. Okay, so we are going to try that, and it's mainly inside our header. Okay, so we have three ways that you can use CSS: inline, okay, or you define and call up, or you put them entirely in another document and make reference to them. So I'm going to start with it's called scripts. Sorry, it's been a while. I did all this manually. Actually, I have documents. I don't even insert inline, so I develop in another um, complete document I reference to, as you'll be seeing from in a while. So when you do this, you go ahead and define your style sheet. So I will start with H2. Okay, I will this with my H1, for instance. I'm going to open and close braces, curly braces. I can control the font size. So we mustn't use the font size that we have there. Okay, so 1.3, this will be enough. There's an error here. H1. I want all my H1s to be like this. Digit expected. This is wrong. Okay, no wonder. It's using scripts is JavaScript. It's not supposed to be. I think it should be style. I think it's style. Good. No wonder it was not giving me um, any suggestion. So if I have this and I save that, if we come back to this, watch out, have a very good look at our H1. I will refresh, see it has reduced. Okay, uh, based on the style sheet we just developed. Okay, so I will go ahead and unpink this here. I don't want to be calling up my mail. All right, so I don't want to be making that mistake. Okay, so having done that, I will increase it to 1.5 now and go ahead and give it color. Mm, color. So what will I give it now? What color matches that? Let me just put any color I would like. Fonts, okay. Outline, fonts. Let me make it bold. Okay. So if I'm done with this, I click on save. Note that we have started styling. That is it. Paragraph 1. You can see all the style we apply to it and everything is there. Okay, so the same thing can be done to body. Okay, bring out this style here, Control X to cut it off. And then up here I paste. So I'll call it body and open and close braces. Okay. That still applies. But then we can go ahead and put margin. We'll make it auto padding. Okay, let's look at margin first. Let's look at margin. Okay, automatically stick to the wall. So if I stop that and say margin 10 pixel, okay, so I didn't specify whether top, bottom, or sides. Okay, so it applies all round. That is what it entails. But if I like the top the way it is, but I don't want the bottom, the sides to be, I want the sides to go further inward, then I can go ahead and define that. Okay, is it comma? No, let me see if this will work. Pixel. I think it's not necessary that we put pixel, but for now we can use that 10. Save. Okay, I think okay, okay, I will align the weights where I'm actually applying trying to do what's something else in that. So for padding, I'm going to make it 20 pixel. Okay, and save. All right, padding actually, gives us margin. Okay, what gives us the kind of margin I'm talking about: left, right, top and bottom. But margins is the distance of um, padding is the distance from the wall of your system to the to your work, while margin is your work from every other outline out there. Okay, so I will go ahead and adopt it, but I want left and right to be, to go further. So 30 pixel, 30 pixel, and still 20 for the bottom. Okay, I will save this and refresh. All right, so let me be sure that I'm not making any mistakes. Padding application, padding in HTML, CSS padding. Sorry, um, it's been a while I did all these things manually, so I keep mixing them up. So we have padding top, padding right, mm, bottom and left. All right, so I am supposed to work with those differently. So it's still applicable. I use the padding shorthand property with 4 values. Yeah, so if we actually did that, it means that I was right. Okay, padding 25 pixel is top, while right and left is 50 and bottom is 75. Good. I guess can actually separate them 50-50. You can actually use them that way. I guess because we didn't notice much because it was so close. So let me increase it from 30 to 50. See. Oh, all right. You can see that it's increased. Okay. So that is that. The same thing. I've done that. The same thing with my paragraph. Now, if I want this paragraph to have a different color and I want this paragraph, so I'm not going to define my P the way I defined this. So I'm going to introduce an identity. You can either use ID or we use class. Okay. All right. So I can actually have style for my paragraph one, a different style for my paragraph two. Okay, so I'm going to define that. So I will use what is called, we can introduce classes in that. So I'll call this one P1 or paragraph 1 as the case may be. I will copy you and call the second one P2. So we can come here where H1 ends and work on that. So for you to identify paragraph, we use dot. Okay, so dot P1, open and close curly braces, and then dot P2, open and close curly braces. Okay, so I can make my paragraph 1 to have a bigger, let me say background color, background color. Okay, so I can separate that, I can make that dark gray. No, use something else while I make that of P2 something else. Okay, if I make that one dark green, okay, let me look at something else. Olive green. Save. Hmm. Our body, the background color of the body of our work should be changed to white. Okay, pure white. So that we can have a clearer view of what we are working with. Okay, I can change the font style. Font style of call font family. Oh god, I'll just take this, and for this one, family times New Roman. So what it means is that the first one will be the font style. If at that time is not available, the second one will take effect, or the third or the fourth, they are available for use. Times New Roman will be the first one, times or serif will be the second options. Okay, do you have any difference? I think I should be doing something so different so that we'll be noticing the difference. Fonts family is Georgia. How does Georgia look? Okay, let me take this. Are you sure? Okay, let me see. Maybe what I'm doing is not applying class. Let's see, okay. Fonts, we use this font size to know whether it's working. I'll make this 2 EM, which is bigger than the original size for the body. Okay. Oh, it's not applying. It's no wonder. So what am I getting wrong? I have P1 here as a class, P2. Why are we not having it? Okay, for the body, I'll cut it off for now. Save. Mm, something is wrong. Okay, in HTML, there's something we call div. Div is used to sectionalize. It looks like you can use it in place of table, or we can use table to sectionalize our work. So I'm going to introduce div now instead of applying all these formats, these classes to our paragraph. We'll do it straight to the div session. Okay, so you just call div, close that, can copy, cut it, and end it here. Do the same for this and end it here. So class, I'll cut off that and give it to this. While for paragraph 2, I'll give it to this. Save everything and bam. All right, so it wasn't meant for a paragraph, meant for the div session. So you can see the div has brought up a kind of beauty to our website. Believe me, some blogs you see out there are not sweeter than this. Just a little different touches, you can get what you want. And you can start putting up your blog out there and hosting your website. As you learn more, you can actually beautify, you know. So for now, you should be able to do something with your style sheets and your the HTML knowledge that you have. But I tell you, you don't need to key in all these things the way we have done from the beginning. So many people have invested a lot to bring up basic structures that we can inherit, you know, styles that we can just borrow and they will function the way we perceive them, okay, instead of writing them on our own. So with that, I will take us to what is called Bootstrap. Bootstrap um, put up out there initially by Twitter, call it Twitter Bootstraps. Different versions have evolved over the year. Okay, so boots, just like the way it's pronounced, bootstrap.com, can visit the site to get started. So with this, I will just quickly introduce Bootstrap to us. You get icons free from it, Bootstrap icons, official themes. You get themes that are already put out there for you to use without any pay. Or if you want extra design, you get them by pay. But anyhow, I will show us how we can use the document and get something going. Okay, so I will quickly click on get started. Sorry, supposed to be download. So I will right click on the home and open on a new tab. Let me show us the download first. And honestly, we don't need to download. Everything you're doing these days, web designing, gonna those days when we are designing, we are working on our local machine without internet. We just try to access libraries that are hidden, and all those manufactured libraries on our own. These days, there are libraries online. All you need to do is to reference them. You don't need to stress yourself. So, and internet has become so cheap that you can work with it all along through your application development. So, still working on this. We can download a compiled one, and put in our system and all those, or we can use the CDN, you know, the compiled one, all right, and just link reference on our in our system directly online. So you can go ahead or can use npm to install if you're working on npm packages projects like what is it called again? Like your Node packages, Node JS, Angular projects you can install, you know. So I'm gonna copy the style sheets. I'm not going to look at the JS for now. I don't need it. So I'll just take the style sheet. So to link our style sheets, if it was um, designed or implemented on a different page, if you implemented it on a different page, you can actually link to it using link ref. But remember that anything you're linking is always before the closing or within the head tag of your work. So link relative is what style sheet, that is cascading style sheet. Then href, if it is in our local folder, we just go ahead and call it the name. But since it's on website, you give it the link of the website. All right. So If I save this and visit our site, you will see that there are kind of changes that you experience. Okay, you can see the paragraph one, paragraph two, the way it looks, you know, and the basic work is different. So let's go back to the introduction, a quick start. Okay, I'm going to go to the examples. I want to quickly introduce us to how we can make our website beautiful without wasting much time. So I'm going to take a particular example here. All right, let's look at this blog, Jumptron. Mm, Just trying to figure out or get something you can pick and your website is working. All right, let me look at this. All right, this is a kind of website. You have your title here, your blog, and you have the navigation links here, and you have the name of your website here, and you have different posts for your blog. Okay, so I'm going to work with this, introduce us to this, and then we'll wrap it up, call it a day. So how do we borrow this? I will right click and visit the view page source. We give us the structure. Okay, so we can just borrow some parts, uh, not necessarily everything. I think we like the header and we like this jump through here, and then this particular space and this space, and we just go straight and borrow the footer. So let me not just jam pack our head with so many things. I will leave the styles there for now. Okay, I will take all of them because they for the body, say the header, the featured post. I will stop here. Sample blog. Okay, okay, let me include the sample blog here. Do I need that? Okay, let me include the sample blog if it is necessary. I'll copy this, come to our work, Control A, delete, and Control V to paste. So I'll take the main work here, sample blog, you know what, let me pick everything and then delete what I don't want. I'll go to the header, um, the link should be from the website, not what I have here. So I'm going to delete all this. Leave this. Fonts are awesome. There are so many things I've not shown us, so please don't be shy to stain your hands out there. Just look for tutorials and read up. some of these things. So we'll paste this here. Okay, bootstrap.com, this, that. Paste this here. Control what, save. Visit our website and see if we have mimicked that. Wow. So you can see what we have here. The footer is not in order because there are some style sheets that are missing. Okay, I can actually show us how we can do all those, how we can get all those. Let me just address that. So when we get to the footer, which is this, there's a blog footer class there, and if it's missing, and that is why we don't, that is why ours is not as structured as the other one out there. So what I'm going to do now is to style try to borrow that style sheet from this page. So we just look for the manual style sheet that was attached, that is not linked on the site. So Bootstrap means it was linked, and that is what we have there. And the manual one, this is blog dot what css. Okay, so I'm going to link that. The system will assume, let me put it here, that we have it here, but we don't have blog.css. So let's go ahead and create that file. Paste that. Okay, but it's empty. Go back there. Let's call it up. You can see it's a link. When you click, you have it. So this is it. You can see block header, logo, block header there. Control A on your keyboard, Control C to copy. And when you're here, you Control V and paste. So let's save that. Let's revisit our site, Python. That's nice blog. So you see the way the footer is. I'm going to refresh. See the footer now. Exactly what we have here. Okay, so that is it. You don't need to start from the beginning. Now if you're not convenient with this black, you can go ahead and look up this class, the class that produces, and change that. If you don't like the white background, go ahead and look up the CSS style sheet and you can work on that. So this is blog footer um, area that we'll just address now. You can see that blog footer. How do you know? Go back to your page, go to the footer and look for the class blog footer. Okay, it was just a coincidence that we have it. It's just because we have it as the last thing, and that is why we could easily find it. But assuming you're not able to locate it, all you need to do is to search for it. At the beginning, I've looked through, I can't find it. I'll just click on edit, find. Okay, paste there. It will tell you how many of them that exist. Okay, about 2 of them. Go ahead and scroll one by one, up or down, to locate the 2, and you change it. So some people like their footer being so black. Okay, black background. Go ahead. I've shown us how we can do background color. Okay, and pick black. That is what you want. Click on save. Go back to the site and refresh. See, the footer is completely black now. Okay, so it's so simple. Take time, work on all this, and you are good to go. I've shown us so many things now. Borrow Bootstraps. Bootstrap is a free and open source package. It's not a paid one, but actually you can pay for some things if you want to. Like this example, the example is kind of limited. So if you want fancy full examples, okay, like you can see browse theme. These are things that people have taken their time, to develop. So they make them premium. So they put a price on them. If you want, you pay and you get it. You can see this is $39 um, for mobile massage and real beauty of simplicity. They are all they all cost money. This costs money. So like this. But who says you cannot do something like this or this? Take your time, go through the bootstrap processes and get something up and running like we have done. So please don't forget to subscribe so that as soon as we upload the next um, part, you will get the alert. Also click on the bell notification button so that you get notification as soon as we upload more videos. Liking and sharing our video will help support us. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and click on the notification button. Thank you so much.